November 19th, 1941, 15:55 hours. The Indian Ocean, 150 miles west of Shark Bay, Australia. The sunlight is a sheet of white-hot brass on the water. The only sound on the bridge of HMAS Sydney is the steady, reassuring thrum of her Parsons-geared turbines and the soft hiss of the bow wave as she cuts through the swell at a comfortable 15 knots. Captain Joseph Burnett, a meticulous, steady man, stands on his bridge wing. His ship is not just a ship. She is the pride of a nation. She is a Leander-class light cruiser, 7,000 tons of grey steel, speed, and lethality. In Australia, she is a celebrity. Children buy bubblegum cards with her picture. In the Mediterranean, she had become a legend, humiliating the Italian Navy by sinking the unsinkable cruiser Bartolomeo Colleoni. She is fast. She is professional. She is, her crew believes, invincible, and she is almost home. Her patrol, a long, boring sweep up the coast, is almost done. In 24 hours, they will be in Fremantle. A hero's welcome waiting. The mood is relaxed. Smoke! Sir, the call from the port lookout is sharp, cutting the sleepy afternoon air. Starboard quarter, bearing 310, looks like a merchantman. Captain Burnett raises his binoculars. The lookout is right. A single funnel, a lone freighter, where no Allied freighter is scheduled to be. Burnett's relaxed posture stiffens. This is the hunting ground. German auxiliary raiders, Hilfskreuzers, have been savaging this shipping lane. Action stations, he orders, his voice calm. Signal the vessel. Demand her identity. Starboard 10. Close the range. The alarm bells rattle. 645 men, many of them in their tropical whites, run to their posts. The 8 6-inch guns, in their 4 twin turrets, train on the distant, unknown ship, 8 miles away. On the bridge of the Kormoran, Captain zur See, Theodor Detmers, has seen the warship for 10 minutes. He's been praying it was a cloud. It is not. It is a light cruiser, and it is turning toward him. Detmers is not a merchant captain. He is a predator. His ship is a wolf in sheep's clothing. To the eye, she is the Dutch freighter Strat Malacca, but beneath her false decks, behind her collapsible hull plates, she is a disguised killer. She bristles with 6 5.9-inch guns, the same main battery as a World War I cruiser, plus torpedo tubes, 2 Arado seaplanes, and 300 mines. Detmers has been at sea for 350 days. He has sunk 11 ships. His crew is exhausted. His engines are failing, and his ship is full of prisoners. He looks at his first officer. It is a Leander class. Possibly. Sydney. A cold dread fills the bridge. A real cruiser. Out in the open. Kormoran is a sitting duck. Sydney's 6-inch guns can hit her from 25,000 yards. Kormoran's 5.9-inch guns have a range of 18,000 yards. It is a mathematical certainty. If this becomes a long-range gunnery duel, they are dead. What are your orders? Herr Kapitän, Detmers is a gambler. He has one chance. A desperate one. We continue the ruse, he says, his voice flat. We are the Strat Malacca. We will be slow. We will be stupid. He orders the Dutch flag raised. He orders his radio operator to send a garbled, panicky signal, reporting a suspicious ship. It is a brilliant piece of theatre. And he gives one more order. Gunnery crews, to your posts. Torpedoes. Ready. We do not decamouflage. We do not fire. We wait. He watches the grey, sleek shape of Sydney grow larger. The trap is set. The bait is his own ship. His entire hope rests on one single, fatal possibility that the Australian captain will make a mistake. That he will come too close. November 19th, 1941, 17 hours. The gap is closing. On the bridge of HMAS Sydney, Captain Joseph Burnett watches the merchant ship through his binoculars. It is behaving exactly as a panicked, slightly incompetent civilian ship would. It is slow. It is sending garbled signals. It is not answering his flag hoist challenge correctly. She's hoisted PKQI. The signalman reports. Sir, that's the call sign for Strat Malacca. Is it correct? Burnett asks. Yes, sir. But it's out of date. And she's flying the Dutch flag. But she's not where she's supposed to be. Everything is wrong. The ship is suspicious. It is behaving erratically. It is exactly the profile of a German raider. Every rule of naval warfare, every lesson Captain Burnett has ever learned, screams one thing: keep your distance. Stay at 20,000 yards. Use your superior 6-inch guns. Use your Walrus seaplane. Send it up. Let it circle the ship. Identify it. And if it's a raider, sink it from an impossible distance, where its own guns cannot even touch you. Burnett looks up. His Walrus aircraft is already on the catapult. Its engine warmed up. Its pilot waiting. But he doesn't give the order. Why? The question will haunt Australia for 60 years. Is it arrogance? Does he believe his ship, the Corleone's killer, is so invincible that this tub of a freighter poses no threat? Is it impatience? Is he just trying to get this over with so he can get home to Fremantle? Maintain course, Burnett orders. We will challenge her by lamp. On the Kormoran, Capitan Detmers watches, his heart in his throat. He cannot believe his luck. The cruiser is not stopping. It is not launching its aircraft. It is coming. He's closing, sir, the first officer whispers, his voice incredulous. He's coming right for us. Detmers can now see the individual sailors on the Australian cruiser's deck. She is magnificent. Her guns are trained on him. Her X and Y turrets at the stern are still pointing forward, ready to swing. But she is getting closer. 15,000 yards, 10,000 yards, 5,000 yards. This is not a naval engagement. This is a knife fight in a phone booth. Gunnery crews. Stand by. Detmers breathes. Torpedoes. Fire on my command. He is in the trap. 1725 hours. Sydney is now steaming parallel to the Kormoran, matching her slow 14-knot speed. The distance is suicidal. It is 1,600 yards, 1 mile. At this range, a 6-inch naval gun is not a long-range weapon. It is a cannon. You cannot miss. On Sydney's bridge, Captain Burnett is angry. He is flashing a signal by oldest lamp. Hoist your secret call sign. This is the final test. The raider will not have it. On Kormoran's bridge, Detmers sees the flash. The game is up. He has 645 Australian sailors staring at him, their guns loaded, waiting for him to fail the test. He turns to his gunnery officer. He will fire the second we fail to answer, Detmers says, his voice cold. He has us, but we are not dead yet. He gives the order that will seal Sydney's fate. Decamouflage. 1730 hours. On Sydney's B turret, able seaman Alan Rowe, the gun captain, is squinting at the freighter. He has a perfect bead. Ready, sir, he reports. On the bridge, the signalman is watching the freighter. Still no answer. Sir, she's... Wait. Something's happening. On the Kormoran, it is a symphony of mechanical violence, with a crash of hydraulics and pneumatic pistons. The false hull plates drop. The collapsible bulwarks fall. The Dutch flag comes down. The Kriegsmarine battle ensign, the swastika on a red field, screams up the mast. In 30 seconds, the fat, harmless Strat Malacca vanishes. In her place is a grey, bristling man-of-war. On Sydney's bridge, there is a single, collective gasp. Action! Burnett roars. Fire! 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 But he is too late. Capitan Detmers has his binoculars trained on Sydney's bridge. He sees the flash of the Aldi's lamp. He sees the panic. He has waited for this exact split second of stunned hesitation. He does not yell. He speaks into his voice pipe. Fire. November 19th, 1941. 17:30 hours. Time dilates. The 6:45 men on HMAS Sydney have less than 1 second. Captain Burnett's order, fire, is still in the air. Kormoran fires first. It is not a salvo. It is a single, instantaneous, full broadside clap of thunder. 6 5.9-inch guns and 2 3.79 anti-aircraft guns, all firing at once at a target just over a mile away, on Sydney's bridge. There is no time to register the mistake. The first German salvo is not aimed at the hull. It is aimed at the brain. The shells, fired at point-blank range, are devastatingly, murderously accurate. A 5.9-inch shell hits the gun director tower. The eye of the ship, vaporizing the sensitive range-finding equipment. A fraction of a second later, another shell, or perhaps 2, hits the bridge itself. Captain Joseph Burnett is gone. His bridge crew, his officers, his navigators, all of them, the entire command structure of the ship, are killed or mortally wounded in the first 5 seconds. Sydney is now a headless, blinded giant. Her 6-inch guns do fire. Able seaman Alan Rowe, in B turret, yanks his firing trigger. His turret and A turret unleash their first salvo, but it is in local control. There is no director. They are aiming by eye, just as the Germans are. Their shots go high. They scream harmlessly over the Kormoran. Kormoran fires again, and again. Her crews, drilled to perfection by Detmers, are firing a salvo every 8 seconds. The second and third salvos are aimed at the midships. They tear into the Walrus seaplane. The 100-octane aviation fuel explodes, turning the center of Sydney into a sheet of white-hot fire. Another shell hits A turret, jamming it. Another smashes B turret, silencing Alan Rowe. In less than a minute, Sydney's forward guns are out of action. Her bridge is gone. She's on fire. And Capitan Detmers has not played his final card. Torpedo! Loss! At 1,600 yards, the G7A torpedo doesn't even have to hunt. It is a straight-line shot. It leaps from the Kormoran's submerged tube and races across the gap. On Sydney's deck, the scene is an abattoir. Men are running to fight fires, but the command structure is gone. There is no one to give orders. The torpedo hits. It strikes Sydney just forward of A turret, below the waterline. The whomp of the 600-pound warhead is a deep, gut-punching sound. It tears a hole the size of a bus in her bow. The Sydney, the Corleone's killer, the pride of the nation, lurches, her bow dipping, her speed dropping. She is dead. She just doesn't know it yet. But she is not a sheep. She is a Leander-class cruiser, and she is dying like a cornered lion. Her aft guns, X and Y turrets, are still in the fight, far from the bridge, untouched by the initial salvos. Their gun captains have local control. They see their target, and they begin to fire. On the Kormoran, Detmer's crew is jubilant. They are cheering. They are watching a first-rate cruiser being torn apart. Then, Sydney's reply arrives. A 6-inch shell from X turret smashes into Kormoran's funnel. It is a devastating hit. It severs the oil lines and sends a blast of shrapnel down into the engine room. The Kormoran's engines die with a sickening shudder. Another shell hits the transformer room. The lights go out. The electric gun hoists stop. Detmer's ship is now dead in the water. Her guns must be hand-loaded. Another shell from Sydney's Y turret finds the Kormoran's oil storage tanks. A secondary fire erupts, a greasy, black column of smoke that joins Sydney's white-hot pyre. The two ships are now locked in a mortal embrace. They are 1/500 yards apart. Both are crippled. Both are burning. The battle, in terms of effective gunnery, has lasted less than 30 minutes. Sydney, a burning, listing wreck, her bow shattered, her superstructure a ruin, begins a slow, agonizing turn to starboard, away from the Kormoran. Her ex-turret fires one last, defiant salvo. The shells are wild. She is disappearing into the twilight, into the vast pall of her own smoke. She is a ghost ship, a floating furnace. 645 men are trapped inside her. On the Kormoran, the fires are out of control. The engine room is a write-off. Detmers looks at his burning, crippled opponent. He has won. He has killed a cruiser. But as he looks at his own ship, at the raging fires below deck, heading toward the 300 mines stored in his cargo hold, he knows a cold, terrible truth. He has not won. He has just managed to die second. November 19th, 1941. 18 hours. The battle is over. The butchery is complete. The sun is a bloody smear on the western horizon, and two crippled, burning ships are left to die in the gathering dark. On the bridge of the Kormoran, Capitan Detmers listens to the final, grim reports. His ship is a floating bomb. The fires below deck are out of control, and they are moving, slowly but unstoppably, toward the 120-foot-long cargo hold containing 300 high-explosive mines. His engines are flooded. His ship is dead in the water. He has won the most lopsided victory of his career, and it has cost him his ship. Damage control, he asks his first officer. His voice flat. The officer's face, black with soot, is all the answer he needs. Sir, the pumps are gone. The engine room is a total loss. The fire is 20 meters from the mine hold. We have maybe 3 hours. 4 at most. Detmers nods. This is the cold, final arithmetic of the sea. Prepare to abandon ship. The famed German discipline holds. There is no panic. This is not a route. It is a tactical evacuation. They have 82 prisoners of war in the hold, from ships sunk weeks before. They are left to their fate. The Kormoran's crew, the wounded first, are ordered to the lifeboats and rubber rafts. They are efficient. They gather supplies, water, and first aid. They are sailors, not fanatics. Their war is over, and they intend to live. From the decks of their burning raider, they watch the horizon. Far to the southeast, their victim, HMAS Sydney, is a single, distant star of fire. She's not moving. She's just a steady, orange-red glow against the twilight. They can see her, but can her crew see them? Aboard HMAS Sydney, there is no such order. There is no such discipline. There is only fire, darkness, and the agonizing, unending sound of escaping steam. The bridge is gone. The gun director is gone. The radio room is a twisted, molten ruin. Captain Burnett and his entire command staff were, almost certainly, the first to die. Below decks, in the forward mess, men are trapped by the gash from the torpedo. In the engine rooms, men are being cooked by the steam from ruptured lines. The ship is a 7,000-ton steel coffin, and the 645 men inside are trapped. There is no one to give the order to abandon ship. There is no one to coordinate the firefighting. There is no one to send a signal. The ship's walrus seaplane, which could have saved them, which could have spotted the raider's identity from 10 miles away, is a charred, skeletal frame, its aviation fuel having acted as a blowtorch, gutting the ship's midsection. The pride of Australia, the 250 million asset, is now alone, crippled and silent, save for the screams of her crew. November 20th, 1941, 0:05 hours. a German lifeboat. Oberleutnant Gerlach, his arm bleeding from shrapnel, huddles with 30 other men. They are a mile away from the Kormoran, watching their own ship die. They see the fire on the raider's deck suddenly brighten. A flash, then the night itself is torn apart. The fire has reached the 300 mines. The Kormoran explodes in a single, colossal, apocalyptic whoomp. It is a silent, blinding flash, a man-made volcano that lights the ocean for 50 miles. A column of fire and steel rises 1,000 feet into the night. The sound, when it arrives, is not a noise. It is a physical blow, a wave of concussion that nearly capsizes the lifeboat. Debris, white-hot pieces of steel, fragments of the engine, rains down into the water around them. Then, silence. Their ship is gone. Gerlach and the 300 other German survivors, scattered in lifeboats and rafts, are alone. They are 150 miles from the hostile coast of Australia. They look at each other, their faces lit by the faint starlight. They have survived. One of them points to the southeast. Look, the glow is still there, the single, distant, flickering star of fire. HMAS Sydney. She is still afloat. She is still burning. For the next 5 hours, the Germans float, watching. They are the only witnesses to the final, mysterious moments of Australia's greatest warship. The glow does not move. It does not falter. It just burns. Then, at approximately 05, just before the first hint of dawn, a sailor nudges his officer. "Sir, it is gone." The officer looks. He had been watching it. One moment, the faint, reddish star was on the horizon. The next, it was not. There was no second explosion, no final, dramatic plume of steam. It just vanished. HMAS Sydney and her entire complement of 645 Australian sailors had slipped beneath the waves, unseen, unheard, and unmourned, leaving not a single body, not a single lifeboat, not a single piece of wreckage. Only her killers were left to tell the tale. November 24th, 1941, 14:10 hours, off the coast of Carnarvon, Western Australia. The HMAS Yandra, an auxiliary minesweeper, pitches in the heavy swell. Her captain, Lieutenant Commander Alan Jones, scans the empty hostile horizon. The entire nation is holding its breath. HMAS Sydney, the pride of the fleet, was due in Fremantle 4 days ago. She has not arrived. No signal, no radio message, no distress call. A 7,000-ton light cruiser, a national hero, has vanished. The largest air and sea search in Australian history is underway. The official position is overdue. The unofficial fear, whispered in the corridors of Navy headquarters, is U-boat or catastrophic internal explosion. Object, starboard bow. The lookout screams. It's a Carly float. Jones's heart leaps. Hope. Close on it. Get the scramble nets ready. It's them. It has to be them. Sydney's boys. As the Yandra draws closer, the hope curdles into a cold, profound confusion. The raft is full of men. They are pale, exhausted, and severely burned. But they are not Australian. The men they pull over the side are babbling in a language that is not English. They are wearing the tattered, salt-stained remains of Kriegsmarine uniforms. Germans, Jones mutters, his mind unable to process the sight. Germans. Here, a motor launch, HMAS Kulinda, finds another raft. This one contains an officer. He is brought to the naval headquarters in Carnarvon, given water and a cigarette. He is Oberleutnant Gerlach. He is calm, professional, and speaks perfect English. The Australian interrogator, A Navy captain is shaking. What is your ship? Was the first officer of the auxiliary cruiser Kormoran, Gerlach says, his voice a dry rasp. The blood drains from the captain's face. A raider. Here, that explains it. Sydney is on the hunt. Where is she? Where is the Kormoran? Gerlach looks at the captain. The Kormoran is at the bottom of the ocean. We scuttled her. She was fatally damaged. A surge of triumph. By HMAS Sydney, Gerlach nods slowly, the cigarette trembling in his hand. Yes, by the Sydney. Where is she? The captain demands. Where is Sydney? We've been searching for her. Is she damaged? Is she... The Oberleutnant looks at the floor. He seems to be choosing his words with care. Captain, it was a mutual destruction. We engaged her. Very close range. What are you talking about? She came too close, Gerlach whispers. She was at 1 mile. We fired first. We hit her bridge, her director, her forward turrets. We put a torpedo into her. She was a burning wreck. The Australian captain slams his fist on the table. You're lying. A freighter, a disguised raider. Sink the Sydney? Impossible. She would have destroyed you from 10 miles. Gerlach looks up, his eyes meeting the Australian's. The exhaustion is gone, replaced by the cold pride of a naval officer. She came too close, he repeats. She was burning. We were burning. We abandoned our ship just after midnight. We saw her, a glow, to the south. She was still burning. And then, at dawn, she was gone. She vanished. No explosion. Just gone. The report is flashed to Canberra, to Prime Minister John Curtin. It is met with total, stunned disbelief. It is a lie, a ruse, a trick by captured Germans to cover their failure. But then, the Aquitania finds another boat, then the Centaur, then the Wairala. In total, 318 German sailors are pulled from the Indian Ocean, not a single Australian. Not one. The nation is paralyzed. The Germans, now in POW camps, are interrogated separately. They all tell the exact same story. They describe the battle in minute, technical detail. The time, 17:30. The range, 1,600 yards. The first salvo hitting the bridge. The torpedo strike. The fire. The mutual destruction. The story is horrific, unbelievable, and consistent. The truth sinks in. Australia's most famous ship, her $250 million flagship, her invincible hero, is gone, lost with all 645 hands. The single greatest naval catastrophe in the nation's history, and the only men left alive to describe it. The only witnesses to her final, mysterious hours are the 318 enemy sailors who had sent her to the bottom.